What is going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a good Thursday. Had a brutal NBA night last night. Not my slate. It happens. I talked about it a lot, and I didn't somehow manage, especially my big buy-ins, to save room for the later games with potential later news because there was so much earlier news, and it kind of got me in trouble because would have been nice to play. I mean, Westbrook didn't end up having a big game because they got blown out, but I would have had the Aaron Gordon in there, and just a little tilted. But hey, we move on. We try to do our best. We go back to the next day. I do want to mention everybody. I know I've mentioned it on a lot of shows. We did partner with PayDirt DFS in addition to SaberSim TrueDFS. We are charging just a fraction more than SaberSim, and we think we've got a great offering. So we really would hope that you guys would take a look when you have a chance. The SaberSim product is incredible on its own, but with Goldie and Sheets' projections, I think it's just like, Sheets will tell you it's the Nets because he's been winning everything. On top of that, we do have PayDirt with incredible tools and projections themselves, and also really good for sports betting. So I hope you guys will take a look at the packages. We are offering trials right now for the packages, but we are going to be raising the prices soon just because we have too much we feel like we're giving away. So we hope you guys can go ahead and to take a look at the site and see if you're interested, because we're probably about a week or maybe 2 weeks away from making some decently significant raises on the prices. Also going to try to have some lower end packages as well. But with all that said, we're going to get into this little 5-game slate, try and see if we can't salvage the week. Been a rough week for me DFS wise. Sheets always says how he has like no thirds, fourths, fifths. He always ends up first with these tournaments. I run the exact opposite. Lately. Lately for the last couple of years, outside of the $1 million win and some other big wins, but it's been rough with some of these. Fourth place for 5,000 when first is 100 is always a rough thing, but it's just the nature of the game. We go back and we do our best, and we try to adjust from there. So I ran the Sims early just without any changing anything. Obviously, there's going to be news later today. A lot of these teams on back-to-backs, and we'll see who's actually available and who's not. But with that said, we're going to go game by game and get through this as easily as we can. So, all right. So we've got obviously no Jalen Brunson. I guess we're counting on campaign on the second of a back-to-back with potential blowout risk, and there's less value. So that's why he's showing up so much. I don't think by the end of the day, this is going to be a play that I marry myself to. Not that I mind it, just I think that at high ownership, there's definitely some justification for trying to fade it. I'm just gonna take a look. He's been playing. Maybe he can get to around 20. It does feel like an ambitious projection, but on the second of a back-to-back, it could get some run. What do we have paying at minutes wise? 17.5. That seems about right. Pretty close to it. And Mitch Robb would be the more desirable of the two, but I'm kind of interested in the spend ups here. I think Cat's in a great spot. I know it's the second of a back-to-back. I also like Bridges and Hart quite a bit. As well as McBride, who I'm definitely going to bump the projection up on, as I just think it's way too low here on SaberSim, and I actually think should be 30. So I'm gonna put McBride over there, and that's again, this is what the game is. You take the projections, but you also want to make your little tweaks where you feel like there might be something a little different. Goldie's projections are up too. It's always hard to use Goldie and Sheets for every other sport. I use almost exclusively theirs. Occasionally I'll combine theirs with SaberSim's, but I do think that for basketball, just with keeping up to date with the way that it goes, tonight is the night you might be able to use it with Goldies. Sheets, of course, is on his way to the live final for NBA in Scottsdale. But yeah, I think we could certainly use Goldies, assuming that we get the update in before the late night games, because there's probably going to be some late news that we haven't even thought about yet. But yeah, a little bit higher on New York than the field is probably. Charlotte on the other side, I am trying to figure out what to do. We do have LaMelo likely back tonight. I think that's interesting because when they play him, they tend to play him his normal 32 minutes. That's what I was going to guess. Yep, 32. And I think Bridges is more in play than maybe he gets credit for. So I'm actually going to bump those guys up just a little bit. I think these projections are a little bit low on both of them. LaMelo seems about right. We'll go to 46 just to make it closer number. Remember, the Knicks aren't the same defensive team they were last year, so I don't mind taking some stabs here, but those are the main ones. The Nurkic thing, I don't know how I feel about it. They have been playing him the backup minutes role. We still are not seeing him even hit these numbers, and I'm not really sure why. I guess it's because Diabate is questionable. If Diabate is out, then we could talk about Nurkic as a similar play to on the other side of this game with Mitch Robb. All right, Brooklyn and Indy. I lowered the projection on. I think it's too high on D'Angelo Russell, and I think at that ownership, like not to say that he can't have a big game tonight. Absolutely, he could. I just don't see why we have to have him quite as high as we do. The minutes they've got about right, I think, but I think 32 feels more reasonable to me than 34.5 as a median, even in a really good matchup. Watford popping. We obviously have no Cam Thomas, no Cam Johnson, no DeAnthony Melton. Watford is the one who's looking like he's benefiting, but they kind of all are benefiting, and it's a great matchup in terms of, that Indiana plays a faster pace. They only have 11 bodies as of right now in Brooklyn, but they're probably going to play most of those guys actually. So I have it ranked like this. Watford, Zaire Williams, Claxton, Sharp, and then I actually like Keon Johnson maybe a little bit better, just as a potential upside play. Just going to raise it a little bit. Nothing crazy, but going to bump his projection up just a little bit. Indiana on the other side. Let me just make sure that we've got everything rolling here. Indiana on the other side. I know people are getting kind of tired of basketball, so we don't have as many people in here in the morning as we usually do. And it looks like, as usual, okay. Well, that is no. It's on the YouTube too as well. Okay. All right. Indiana side, really hard to find anything. If Halliburton's out again, we're going to play some combination of whether it be McConnell, Mathurin, Nembhard, potentially Ben Shepherd on this slate, even though I don't usually love that value. It's just a smaller slate. So, but as of right now, not getting to a ton of Indy, and I'm not really going to go out of my way to try to. Toronto, it feels like we could take a shot on these guys. I just don't feel I don't feel really great about any of them, to be honest with you. I guess Mogbo, because we have so little value, but it's not even like he's projecting that great. It's just we don't have value on this slate yet. So I'm imagining this is all going to change. Large field, I think Scotty Barnes and Quickly both make some sense here to take some shots at. Smaller slate, so Golden State. I think Curry is. I always like to play him more on smaller slates because there's usually so many guys in his price tier who have probably a higher realistic ceiling, unless he has to score 45, 50 real life points in order to get there. But I do like Curry. I do like Draymond. Those would be my main pieces here. Not getting too much else at the moment, but I'll keep you posted and see where we're at later today. Chicago at Sacramento. Again, another one that's not all that exciting. Giddey's questionable. We have the second of the back-to-back here and a little bit of travel. So I kind of want to see. I feel like we might get, if we get Giddey out, obviously we're back to Trey Jones and Herter, who are both fine anyway. But obviously we won't know after the first games. So and of course Kobe White would look like a pretty solid play as well. So I'm going to wait and see. Hopefully we get the early news on Giddey. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him on the back-to-back. And Vooch, I'm surprised doesn't even have a Q tag, but Vooch on the back-to-back after being on a minutes limit for a little while, they opened it up a little bit. So I'll touch more on this one at 6 Eastern. Sacramento, Trey Lyles, because the lack of value is standing out. We had LaRavia out yesterday, so Lyles had a nice game. We'll see about LaRavia today. My guess is he'd be back, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Levine was a scratch yesterday. Beware that something might happen here in Sacramento. So you might want to save some spots. I'm probably going to do the thing I do where I give a little boost to the players that are starting a bit later. Just bumping them up a little bit, because I just feel like you're going to want to have, you have 3 out of the 5 games later, 3 hours after the first lineup's lock. I just think we're probably supposed to be doing some of that. Milwaukee and LA. All right, so we have all these guys probable. Yeah, I'd love to get to Giannis if I can. I don't mind getting to Lillard if I can't get to Giannis. Do like Lillard in this matchup. And Taurean Prince revenge. Just kidding, but really he's significant value. And as you can see, We've got him probably projected in the 30-minute range. Yep, 29 minutes. I think it's very reasonable to take shots with him. I'm a little, I know that when I ran the first builds, they got me all the Kuzma. It is Kuzma back in LA, or I would be like probably off of such chalk, but I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it. It's always hard with these morning ones because you don't really know, we haven't even seen the shoot arounds yet for a lot of these teams. So really have no idea who's playing. And there's guys who aren't on the injury report yet who I promise you will at least be questionable at some point today, but hopefully not. I actually like it if it plays like this, but as of right now, I think it would be in order of preference, Giannis, Kuzma, Prince, both former Lakers, and then Lillard. But I think if the field doesn't go Lillard's way, I think I might, again, it's a small slate. We want to get a little bit different. Maybe just prioritize Lillard instead of Giannis just for this specific matchup, even though it's a really good matchup for Giannis. The spend up you want the most is Luka. He only got, 3/4 of run last night because of the blowout. So I think, he was well on his way to 70 plus. I think that we should expect that from him. I think this number's a little low on him. I think it should be somewhere in the 62 to 63 range at least. So I'm going to put 63 on there, and I think we're going to get a lot more of them because of that. I also like the Jackson Hayes play that's getting a little bit overlooked these days. So I'm bumping him up. And Austin Reeves also, I feel like people, are still in sticker shock. This is completely a valid price for him, and he can produce this price as we've seen consistently recently. So that's where I'm at right now. If I did, if I just let it cook, and this is where the exposures are, mostly Milwaukee, LA, and New York. But there's a long ways to go on this day. So I'm sure we'll be hearing some news knowing what late season NBA can be like. I didn't run my build on FanDuel yet. I'll just run it, again, just using the Saber Sim projections and running the contest sims. And we'll see what we got over there that stands out as being different. But as far as first looks go, there's a chance that at the end of the year, we might just cut off the first looks for NBA because we'll be doing MLB. And we'll probably just turn it into a longer show. But again, check out the site. We've added some incredible tools. We feel like we have the most unique offering in the industry. I hope that you guys will take a look and see what you think. And also happy for any feedback from any existing members as well, because we want to make this the best experience for you. Our whole thing is transparency. I post exactly what I'm doing in every, all my builds and everything like that every day. And it was more helpful in January, February than it has been in March. But it doesn't mean that we're not ready to turn it around and it's not a good long-term idea. I think it is actually. I'm still not going to like this projection on D'Angelo Russell pretty much no matter what happens. And I don't care about results. I'm not a results-oriented person. I think there's something wrong with him being 75% on. There you go. After the Sims, a lot less. So, yeah, you can see Watford standing out quite a bit. Luka being the priority spend up. Prince for value. Kuzma and Russell still wishy-washy. Probably end up more closer to the field on them. Like Zaire Williams. And then I think Sacramento, depending on who's available, if Levine is out again, let's get all of the guys, we'll play some of the DeRozan. Monk would be still my favorite, I think. Maybe DeRozan. It's pretty close. And then even Joe Val would be in there as well. I'm just going to see if we're getting to any of the Joe Val at the moment. Not at the moment, huh? It's going to depend on whether or not Levine plays, obviously, and LaRavia. Those are two big pieces on a small slate. Anyway, guys, hopefully, hopefully this is just a good way to get your day situated and you can figure out some ideas of what you might want to do. Hopefully you got some good golf lineups going and did the early then late slate, because I think that's probably the way to go for golf this week. And yeah, good luck to everybody. I hope you guys crush it. And we'll see you guys in the Discord. We'll see you at 6 Eastern at the latest. Good luck.